Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Susie Ashworth. I am a pregnancy coach and the co-founder of the Calm Birth School, the world's first video-based hypnobirthing program. And it is our mission to change the way that women view birth, one positive birth story at a time. And as you know, we like to invite experts in from across the pre and postnatal world. And this evening, I am really excited to be able to introduce to you the wonderful Beccy Hands.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Who is a doula. You're a birth doula, postnatal doula, and a massage expert. Tonight, Becky is going to be talking us through the power of positive touch and just how much it can aid us during our pregnancies, help us whilst we're birthing, and then really aid our recovery in the postnatal period. So, welcome. And thank you. And this is the second time we've actually done this because we had technical problems the first time. And I have to say, in between those times, I've now had the pleasure of experiencing Beccy Hands' hands, which are just amazing.
And I have to just quickly say, that is my real name. It isn't an egocentric business name, which I really worry people are going to think that I've called myself Beccy Hands. It is my surname. Always need that proviso.
An amazing surname. Hands by name and by nature. So, Becky, let's just kind of dive straight into things. Do you want to just give us a little bit of your background and how you kind of find yourself now in this prenatal maternity caring, healing world?
Yeah, so I've always loved everything birth, babies, kind of, holistic health. And I always thought I was going to be a midwife or a doctor or a vet for a little while. I kind of wanted to be, but caring professions.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure how, but I ended up getting lured into the media industry and I became a producer for 7 years. And during that time, I had always been interested and had used massage actually myself for back problems and health problems. And then when I decided that enough was enough of the kind of lucrative media industry and I was going to follow my passion, I retrained as a massage therapist, married my husband, which is where I inherited the Hands name, and very soon just fell into having lots and lots of pregnant clients and decided that I loved that kind of field so much that I was going to specialise in pre and postnatal. And then through that, for about a year, massaging and specialising in working with pregnancy ailments, misalignments, breech babies, lots of different kind of pregnancy-related stuff. I got asked to attend labours to work with women for pain relief during labour using massage techniques, which blew me away. And I was like, wow, yeah, absolutely. And the first labour, that was it. I was hooked. So I trained as a birth doula where I can kind of incorporate the two things together really, really nicely. And then never looked back, left my job and here I am, kind of, finding myself full time. And it's great because I can sort of, with the doula work and the massage together, I sort of work with women throughout pregnancy, during labour and then postpartumly. So it's brilliant. I get to kind of do the whole shebang really, which is really nice.
We're going to go a little bit off piste immediately here, but what is it that you love about working with women during this phase of their life?
I think I love that I love that sisterhood. I love that kind of, that real women together red tentness. So working with women in what can be, unfortunately, sometimes quite fearful stage, which is why the work you guys do is amazing, and helping them to kind of learn to get really excited about what's happening and understand the physiology behind labour so that it isn't scary, it's just a muscular contraction kind of bringing your baby to the world, and kind of using massage to help ease all those ailments and those fears and those worries, and being able to kind of support a woman in the labour room with hands-on touch is amazing. I mean, it's the most rewarding and kind of I don't know, spiritual, if you want, kind of work I've ever had the pleasure to do. And then postpartumly, kind of, I have a big bugbear that in the West we don't support women enough. We don't hold them in their postpartum period, whereas in most other cultures women are really nurtured and restored after labour, whereas here, you know, we're expected to be back in our skinny jeans and at the Tate on day 4, and it's kind of you know, having that restorative care and supporting women postpartum, I think, is such an amazing thing to be able to do. And there's so many benefits to having massage in the postpartum period. So I just feel it feels like an honour to do my job, which is amazing, actually.
Yeah, I completely hear that, actually. Things, and we support women in different ways, but it's such a special time.
Yeah.
When you can build people up, we kind of do it emotionally, but you get to do it emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
It is an honour to be able to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And you know, it's going right back to how it used to be. You know, when you look at anthropological studies of pregnancy and labour, you know, it was women getting together and really holding each other up in that time. And you know, and I don't know where we lost it along the way, but you know, maybe the medicalisation of birth, but it sort of got a bit lost. And it's great that it's coming back with, you know, people like us helping women. You know, it's great. It's really brilliant.
So let's kind of get to the massage bit, because I think when I was pregnant, I looked at it as a bit like, it's kind of like a little bit of a treat, a little bit of a luxury. And I had a couple of pregnancy massages, which were quite annoying, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But, you know, why is it, you know, we're talking tonight about the power of positive touch, and obviously this is what you do day in, day out. Why do you feel it is so important?
There are so many benefits. So in pregnancy, for example, there are lots of ailments that we have that we put up with that we don't need to. So for instance, you know, having cramp in your leg, lots of women just say, oh, you know, it's just part of being pregnant, and it isn't. Actually, what it is your muscle, you know, the lymph flow back up from your feet is slightly impinged because the baby's sitting there, and it needs to be stimulated back up. And if you don't do that, then what happens is the muscle gets quite sticky, and you get cramp. So actually, massaging from the foot up towards the heart again and pushing the lymph back up clears that, and you don't get cramp. Things like getting reflux and heartburn, actually massage stimulates the digestive system, so that, which needs more stimulation in pregnancy because it gets quite sluggish. Again, having regular massages can actually help with reflux and things like heartburn, muscular aches and pains, you know, the changing kind of dynamic of our body. You know, we have a bump pulling us out, so we tend to pull back. Regular massage can help with all the neck tension. You know, there's all the sort of pregnancy related ailments that you can think of pretty much can be supported with regular massage. Apart from also how tiring it can be for us, and having, you know, we are creating this human being inside us, so having this regular nurturing restorative time is really important. And I think we get quite hung up on looking at massage as only a muscular thing, whereas actually massage works on all the systems of the body. So one of the kind of biggest thing that a lot of research has come out recently is that in our nervous system we have two kind of modes. We have our protection mode and our growth mode. Protection is very much about shutting the body down and running, you know, fight or flight. And because we have quite stressful lives, often our body is in the protect mode. When we're relaxed and we're feeling very calm and we're not stressed, our body goes into growth mode, which is about feeding our body and restoring our cells and renewing. Massage promotes that. And so recent studies have shown that actually women who have regular massages often have richer placentas, and babies have higher birth weight because the body has been feeding, you know, it's not in protect mode. So it's quite big, actually, you know, the benefits are, I could go on for hours.
Well, you said quite a lot in there, and the kind of first thing that I want to kind of just acknowledge is, are you saying that we don't get heartburn because our babies have got hairy heads? Are you saying that?
You know what, though? weirdly, so often I have ladies who say, "Oh, I've got terrible heartburn," and the midwife says, "Oh, hairy head," and they do come out with quite hairy heads. So I don't know. It's kind of, maybe it's a bit of both.
But it's a really big deal. So the aches and pains, I think that we're very kind of, I don't know whether we're accepting or we like a bit of an ache and pain that we can have a little bit of a moan about, and all my back and all of this, Yeah. It's interesting that we don't have to, it doesn't have to be like that.
No. And it's bizarre because quite often I also do normal, non-pregnancy related massage, and I have people who are training for big races, marathons, even just 10Kers, and they come in for their, they have like 4 massages before their run because they're preparing for a sporting event. Yeah. And then women feel like they have to justify having a cheeky little massage, and they're preparing for labour, and it's like, actually, you have to almost view yourself like a sports person about to go in, and any sports person will have regular massages before a big run to feed the muscles, to get, everything works better when it's more relaxed. Yeah. And I find women, like you say, sort of coming in going, "Oh, I treated myself," and being quite sheepish. And you're like, it's not a treat, it's an absolute necessity,
Well, I did that the other day when I came to you. I was like, but the other kind of really interesting thing is that whole thing about us being in that fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And actually, particularly when you are working, particularly if you're living in the city, you're living kind of quite a full-on life generally, being in that mode and not even realising it, it kind of is becoming our normal set point because we are always on it.
Absolutely.
And taking the time out, so even our sleep is affected by how much time, kind of how much anxiety, how much stress we have to deal with on a daily basis. So, and then when you're getting pregnant, you tend to get less sleep anyway because you're more uncomfortable and you're growing a baby. So just that time when your body would be renewing and working extra hard, because it can do, because, you're resting, you can do all the things it needs to do for baby. It doesn't even get that much time to do that then, because it's having to recover from the normal day to day.
Yeah, absolutely.
The emphasis is kind of even more pronounced, I think.
Yeah, and actually going back to the sleep thing, one of the other amazing added benefits, and I get the best emails after, people come for a pregnancy massage, and they always say, "Oh my God, I slept so well." It actually does promote good sleep because it puts the body into growth and not protect. And growth is about, and also growth is giving you the endorphins, the oxytocin, all those lovely, loving love hormones that kind of build us up, which is why it's so good in labour and, postpartumly. It's sort of, it gives you all the right hormones, not the dodgy ones that we don't want during pregnancy and labour.
Yeah. So do you need to be a trained masseuse to be able to give good massage?
No. So if you want to go, like you were saying about, going and having a massage, if you've got a real sort of dodgy shoulder that you want sorting out, then you need to go and see somebody who's properly trained and preferably specialised in pregnancy rather than just saying they can do pregnancy, because there's nothing worse than going and having a very light massage when you want a bit of a kind of going over and a pummeling, because it can make you a bit more stressed if you go in sometimes. But saying that, if your partner is willing, and often it's a really nice way to kind of get them involved in the pregnancy and the labour, a really lovely, soft, gentle, relaxing massage from your partner on a regular basis is amazing. And you don't have to be qualified to do that. There are some certain things you need to be aware of. So for instance, you've got a big bump you need to accommodate, so you don't want to be lying on your front. You want to be lying on a side position with some pillows placed between your knees and your ankles, so you're nice and relaxed. You want to be well. You wouldn't massage if somebody was poorly or had a fever. you want the room to be nice and warm so that they can relax, so their muscles aren't contracted because they're chilly. You need to allow time, so you're not rushing. But if you can do all those things, and you know, it just a little bit of a foot rub or a leg rub or a shoulder rub is amazing. You know, it can really stimulate all your lovely hormones, and particularly in labour, you know, a little kind of massage on the shoulder can really release tension in the neck and jaw. And, you know, tension in the jaw, unfortunately, means tension in the vagina and perineum. So when you're in labour, if you see your, you know, partner clenching, then you can really help by just going and giving a little shoulder rub, a little kind of massage around the you know, jaw and neckline. And a lot of people don't realise that just a tiny little bit of touch can release so many things, you know, and help things to kind of move on or just relax.
Yeah, I mean, we really appreciate it with children, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, if we see a child that is in pain or in distress or just needs comforting, often a touch without even any words can be immediately healing and immediately soothing. And, you know, we're all just big kids, really, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And often when I work teaching birth partners to massage, one of the things we talk about is keeping communication kind of non-verbal, so you know, keeping chit chat to a minimum, and actually if for instance their shoulders are tight, sometimes just placing your hands on somebody's shoulders gives them the message, okay, actually you just let go, you know. And they're often when the baby's pushing down, women tend to tense their thighs and their bottoms, and you can see, you know, you can see them holding. And often if you just place your hand on the sacrum, it just says, just let go of this area, and they do, you know, and there's no need for talk, or it just happens, you know, touch just releases basically, and it's so powerful, it really is.
Oh, I love, they're really great tips. We're going to have to get a transcription of this so we can put it out as a PDF, but really, really helpful. So what makes a good massage?
So things to think about, particularly maybe thinking about labour, things that you can do are you know, using a slow pace. So one of the things we talk about quite a lot is how you can determine your partner's breathing rate with the massage. So if you're doing, you know, some light touch massage on the back, or, you know, just gentle stroking, if it's fast, then you stimulate people, you make, you know, you sort of make them breathe a bit faster and feel sort of quite energized. But if you slow it really down and it's really slow, you actually can slow down their breathing, you slow down their blood pressure, and you actually bring everything to a really calm space. So often we sort of say, again, non-verbal communication, if somebody's quite anxious, you can just very, very slowly massage them and it will just bring everything down. Yeah. And that's something you have to watch yourself with. When you're anxious or excited, you tend to kind of speed up a little bit. So we always say to people giving the massage, you know, make sure that you're pretty centered and you have a couple of deep breaths and you slow yourself down, and then you will be able to kind of lead that pace for your birthing partner, which is, you know, fantastic for them.
Yeah. And would you say that, particularly from a birth partner's perspective, that they're trying to achieve different things during the pregnancy and during the labour?
Yeah, so I think during pregnancy, you're you're working on easing aches and pains. So, you know, often women get pain in their hips from tight bum, you know, where they're lying on their side and your bottom gets a bit tight and sore. And often, you know, some gentle massage there, gentle massage on the neck and shoulders. And you're sort of, you're mainly focusing on just relaxing them and releasing those muscles with a bit of gentle massage. But it's important to practice in pregnancy, because if you suddenly just start massaging somebody in labour, it doesn't feel familiar and comfortable. So, and also you're not familiar and comfortable with it. So we always say to people, if you are planning on doing massage in labour, then do practice in pregnancy, because you'll both be so comfortable and it will be one of those lovely familiar, you know, it's like with hypnobirthing, you've heard it so many times, it just makes you feel really secure. And it's the same with massage. The more you do it, the more familiar and secure it will feel. And in labour, you're concentrating on getting the oxytocin flowing, which is your labour hormone. So massage is very, very much stimulates that, and getting women in the early stages just in that really lovely space so that they can labour freely and in a relaxed state. Because quite often, labour starts and we've been waiting for such a long time. We just go, and you kind of want to get going, and sometimes I arrive and women are up and down the stairs sideways and they're in their squats. You're like, whoa, hold on, we need to bring it right back, slow it down, do a little bit of massage, put your hypno download on and get in the zone before we start crab walking up the stairs and whatnot. So it's a really nice way of, quite often as well, when women need a rest, they might be labouring quite hard, but actually their body's tired, and sometimes just a 20-minute massage in a side position fuels them, and then labour progresses beautifully because their body just needs that tiny little bit of respite. So it's quite good at slowing things down if needed as well.
It's quite interesting what you're just saying about the speed of things. If somebody's labour comes on quite intense and quite quickly, I mean, I don't know if you've ever whether you've ever assisted on any labours like that. How helpful can massage be in those circumstances?
Some really helpful, actually. And again, it's a funny one. Some people, when labour comes really quickly like that, and they're so overstimulated, sometimes touch is not what they want. But mostly, actually, surprisingly, it's all a bit, they're like, oh, whoa, and then you just really calmly, do a bit of light touch massage, and suddenly they're like, okay, it's fine. It's so reassuring, and it also kind of mentally slows it down slightly. So even though the body's going quickly and the body's surging away, mentally you can kind of bring yourself back to quite a composed state. And again, it's that whole, touch being quite a secure and reassuring. And quite often that there are sort of techniques that you can do that are almost like giving someone a hug, like putting your hands on somebody's shoulders. It's a bit like someone coming and giving you a hug, but not being in your space. So it's quite a nice way of saying, I'm here, I'm with you, but I'm behind you, and I'm not going to get in your way, but I'm here, and that's quite a powerful message.
We teach the light touch massage, or a light touch massage technique, at the Calm Birth School. But do you want to just explain the difference between a light touch and a heavier touch, or more intense? I don't know how you...
Yeah, definitely. So with the light touch, you're working sort of on the very superficial layers of the muscle, which is where all your nerve endings are, and it gives you that lovely kind of nervous stimulating kind of tingly feeling, which is really soothing on your nervous system. It also slows the message to the brain. So because you're sort of stimulating in different areas, the message of the surge is sort of sometimes halved, because it's your brain saying, oh, hold on a minute, there's another sensation coming in here, and I can't just focus on that one, I'm going to focus on this one too. So it works brilliantly. Not only does it feel nice, but it also kind of slightly intercepts the message of the surge that you're getting, which is great. And certainly a lot of women say, with the light touch, that their surges are, half as intense as they are without, which is brilliant. It's a really good analgesia as well. Also, you're stimulating your oxytocin, which is your hormone that obviously makes labour progress beautifully, and makes you feel lovely. So you're sort of having a win-win situation, really, because you're having this lovely massage and you're encouraging your labour to progress. If your muscles are tight, for instance, women who have been standing for quite a long time in labour sometimes get puffy around the ankles, and the calves feel a bit tight. You can do some deeper pressure work where you're kind of using, you're pushing into the muscle, and that can help release the muscle contraction. So that's how they differ. One works on the very surface, and the other is a bit more kind of getting into the muscle. But but they both release the oxytocin, which is brilliant.
So for birth partners, for the light touch massage, it's literally your fingertips and your fingernails, backs of your fingernails can work really effectively. And for the more intense, so you've got to go in. It's basically counter pressure.
Yeah.
Mum will be able to tell you. It's about listening to her.
Absolutely.
And how light she needs or wants it at any particular time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on with going to a specialist masseuse for pregnancy massage. And, you know, I've been to them where they are kind of literally just stroking you. And it does get irritating because you do need more intensity. But I know that a lot of the time the advice that women are given is that the reason that they can't go, the massage can't be more intense is because it's dangerous for the baby. So I just wanted to get your views on that.
Yeah, no. The problem is when people do quite basic massage courses, obviously nowadays, you know, with lawsuits and you know, people suing for all sorts, what happens is people have to cover themselves for any kind of legal repercussions. And with pregnancy, there are some areas that are known, so they're pressure points that we actually use when we're specialised to try and encourage labour to start, that are considered induction points. So they are points of the body that can stimulate uterine contractions, and therefore you wouldn't want to go anywhere near those points in early pregnancy. If you're trained properly, then you know how to go in deeply without stimulating those points, because you have to do quite a lot more training, and you know, you sort of you are taught how to realign the body without in any way kind of, you know, harming the baby at all. So it's all very safe, but you do have to. So we are insured to do that. If you haven't done that training, then you don't have that insurance. You can say that you're a pregnancy massage therapist, but you're not insured to do those things. So a lot of it comes down to training and insurance, unfortunately.
Right.
So yeah, it's about, and the thing is, I always just think, just ask your therapist. We love flashing our certificates, you know, so go in and say, you know, have you done, what training have you done? Can I see your certificates? Because, you know, it's fine to ask for that. We'd ask for it for other things. And, you know, if people are trained properly, then they will be very happy to show you.
Okay, perfect. Can you talk to me a little bit more about just how powerful massage can be in the postnatal period?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we need to be a lot, you know, nurtured a lot more in the postnatal period. Massage straight after, muscularly, it can we realign the body. So when you have a baby, you have to really open up, you know, everything opens up in your body, and postnatally we look at bringing the body back again very slowly. Also, during your pregnancy, your alignment often goes a tiny bit skew with, so you're always a little bit out in your pelvis. When your beautiful baby comes and you're doing all that amazing breastfeeding, you know, quite often we're sitting hunched, so we get these awful tension in our neck and shoulders. So it's really about looking at what the body's doing and helping the body to come back effectively in the right position. So usually we would say try and have a massage within the first 2 weeks of the postpartum period, because often you'll be, I mean, you know, women are often sort of, we have a bit of a laugh about how wonky their hips are, and you know, and how beautifully they can come back together again. Early massage, so in the first couple of days, if your partner does lots of nice little massage on you, has the same effect as having skin to skin with your baby. It produces prolactin, which makes your milk come in. And again, there are lots of studies now showing women who have had regular massage during pregnancy and in the postpartum period, their milk comes in thicker and fuller and quicker. And actually, I had a beautiful, the other day I had to go and see a postnatal woman, which is when I was supposed to be talking to you, and she was having a real problem breastfeeding her baby. Her milk just wasn't coming in. She'd had a very long, difficult labour, and we did skin to skin, and we just did a lot of massage, and we massaged and massaged and massaged, and then when she sat up, both boobs were leaking and they were like pumping milk out. So it really, really works. And her husband, I'd said to him, do massage her, and he hadn't, because he again, I think just thought, she's a hippie massage therapist, but his jaw dropped and he was like, oh, kind of, so he then was like, I'm going to massage her every evening, and then I got this beautiful picture of, she was expressing, and she'd filled a bottle and she was so proud. So, it really, really is powerful. Also, massage is very healing, and going back to the growth mode of our nervous system, if we have a tear or an episiotomy or a C-section, massage really promotes skin healing and tissue healing. It feeds that area and it encourages it to, and it heals a lot quicker. So it's just, there's so many benefits. You kind of just go, we need massage every day, basically.
Yeah. And that's what we advise our mums and dads and partners in the course, that mum should be having a 10-minute massage every day during her pregnancy.
Yeah. And for bonding, that's the other thing that always amazes me. In pregnancy, often if I'm showing dads how to massage mums, we do an abdomen massage, and I will show them, I'll do the technique on the abdomen. Baby kind of wriggles slightly, and dad starts massaging, and they're like bang bang bang, and they're kind of moving around, and dads love it, and you're like, look, there you go, they know you, they love that you're touching them, and it's really lovely for dads to see. And also in the postpartum period, often when mums are breastfeeding, dads can feel a little bit, like, oh, what do I do, where's my role in this, and often I say, you know what, sit behind your mum and massage her shoulders while she breastfeeds. The endorphins will be pumping into her milk. She'll love you forever, and you kind of get involved, and it's all lovely. So it's a really good thing for dads to do, and it gives them an amazing role to play. And in labour, midwives think you're amazing. If they come into the room and you're massaging your mum to be, they all go and talk about you at the midwife station, and kind of think you're brilliant. Everyone raves about it.
Becky, before we kind of wrap this up, can't believe we've been chatting for so long already. Can you give me 3 top tips for birth partners who are going to be getting down to it with the essential oils for mums during pregnancy and in birth?
Yeah, definitely. So the oils that I always like to use, and I remember talking to Holly that you guys use the same, are clary sage and lavender. They're my sort of 2 go-to oils for labour. Clary sage I would only use in labour, but lavender you can use safely in pregnancy. Lavender is a muscle relaxant and a sedative, so it sort of does exactly what you need it to do. It relaxes your muscles and it calms you down as a sedative. Yeah. And clary sage has a very similar effect, but also has the added bonus of boosting your contractions during labour. So when you massage with a little bit of clary sage, you get really good, strong contractions. Yeah. I always say, in the early stages, massaging with lavender is brilliant because it just keeps mum nice and relaxed. And again, focusing on, massaging the abdomen, the lower back, and around the neck and jaw, so that mum doesn't hold tension in that very important jaw area, so she's not tensing down in the perineum. And then later on, sometimes we can get lulls in our contractions when we're a little bit tired. So after a little rest, massaging with some clary sage can really help to bring those contractions back up again and kind of help labour to progress really nicely.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with, or have we got it all?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think the main thing, like you say, is if you're going to do it, just practice. Do it as much as you can, because you'll get much more benefit from it in labour if you're comfortable. It's like anything we do. The first few times we're a bit nervous and a bit kind of bumbly, but once we get more equipped, we can do it beautifully, like pros. And I think if you can do that, it's such an amazing way to support your labouring woman. And in fact, I had an email the other day from a dad that said he felt like a hero in the labour ward, which is lovely, to feel that involved.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Becky, for any of our London ladies, if they want to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
So probably go to the website, which is www.Becky, which is BECCY, hands as in hands.co.uk, and that has all the details on there. I do spend my life going hands.
Perfect. And for those of you who are listening to this who aren't already enrolled in the Calm Birth School course, if you are interested in how hypnobirthing can aid your way to a really calm and positive birthing experience, then please sign up for our free classes at www.thecalmbirthschool.com/free hypnobirthing. We would love for you to join the family.
Do it.
Becky, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
It's amazing, and even more than we do already, we are going to be hammering home the importance of positive touch.
Yes. Brilliant.
It's amazing. And so
lovely. Thanks, Susie.
Thanks, lovely, much appreciated. Right, take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Bye. See ya.
Bye.